Welcome back to the Committee on the Bend Network. 20 U.S. states now permit casino gambling. So Harry, you've written quite a bit about that, and you're critical of casino gambling. Don't you consider it a job creator?
No, because it doesn't create jobs. People will go to Aqueduct in Queens, where there's a giant casino now, and because of complicated reasons, there are not really any people working there. It's all machines. Like there's no dealers or house people or any of that. And they gamble just as much. There's people want to do this. They're not good at math. It's a nice tax on the enumerate, and it never creates that many jobs. And the areas outside of any big casino in America you can find are depressing areas where there's very limited job growth and very limited opportunity outside of the handful of jobs within. And those are never enough to support the people around there. It just plainly doesn't work. It's the opposite of drugs in the sense that it is concentrated sin. It's within this box, these sins are legal. And in Atlantic City, for instance, that means that outside those boxes, there's all these vacant properties right there, and the casinos have made a point of keeping them there because they don't want competition. They'd prefer that people didn't step out of the boxes. And so when that industry rationalizes, their take has gone down by half since 2008 and the market drop. Well, they lay off 6,000, 7,000 people. We're all running out of unemployment benefits now. And that's it. It's terrible for those 6,000, 7,000 people, but 50,000 people live in this town. No supermarket, no movie theater outside the casinos. It's really, walk around. This was a nice beach town once, and with casinos, it's become just a hollowed out, fire burned, heroin addicted, depressing place.
Well, you wrote about this. You were published in 2003, critical of Governor Andrew Cuomo trying to get voters to do a ballot proposition. Can you explain?
Yeah, but that was at 2013.
2013.
And Governor Cuomo, who needed to offer something to upstate and to the southern tier, because one of the funny things about New York City is it's so much bigger than the rest of the state, functionally. New York's giant. Buffalo is in the Midwest, basically, and if 35 people die in a snowstorm there, it's on page 52 behind the lottery results and the crossword here. We don't know the rest of the state exists. Mm-hmm. And it's big, and it's done very badly over the last 20 years now. The last job boom they had, in fact, was prisons under Mario Cuomo. And so Governor Cuomo said we're going to have casinos, they're also going to be resorts, they're going to be spectacular, they're going to revive these economies. And he's got 3 of them now, down from 4. The projected takes for all of them are already down. The takes from the ones we've already opened are down. And this is the best he can offer. And if you don't end up with one of the handful of jobs, it's almost like an affordable housing lottery. Like if you're in, you're golden. And for everyone else, there's nothing there. They don't spill over. And the money is not coming from other state suckers. Because all those states now have their own casinos to skin their own suckers. Right. So you're taking poor enumerate people on the 1st and the 15th and getting them in there, and they're blowing their checks and having a nice time, and they may be paying for some other untaxed sin on the side. And you are taking the neediest among you and taking their money and calling it economic development. That's just wrong.
Is there a bright side at all? I mean, isn't the money supposed to go to education?
Always. In every one of these development plans, it's supposed to go to education. It doesn't. A lot of it ends up going to the general fund. New York already spends, I believe, the most of any state per capita. I know any big state on education per student with very limited results. And a whole set of constitutional issues about still whether or not it's enough. And we've used lotteries. The casinos, as those have slowly grown, and racinos for years. And it's, we're paying for education this way, and we don't have a glorious education system. We have a fair number of addicted gamblers. We've helped wipe out Atlantic City because our gamblers don't have to go there. But it turns out it hasn't been a boon, even for the very areas where the casinos are located. I invite anyone in New York to just go out to Aqueduct, where there's no racing anymore, and the casino, and spend an hour inside looking at who's playing. It's adult daycare. It's old people, some of them in diapers, going like this, robotically. It's very sad. And then to walk around the casino for an hour and see what they see there in the middle of New York City, and then go to the racetrack for an hour and see the 15 remaining gamblers there. It's like it's a scene of collapse and depression. And this is a healthy, functioning casino with a huge take. And it's sad. It's not solitary confinement sad, but it's a very depressing place. And then you've got the weird elements of the glitchy future because they can't have real dealers. So the simulated table games with the attractive robotic women, spinning, and then sometimes they glitch. So 3 times as they try to deal the blackjack hands, and you feel like you're in a bad science fiction movie, and sad and like you'd like to leave. And obviously, if you live around there, you can't exactly leave, and very few people ended up with jobs, and just not much that's good came out of this. It was wonderful for Atlantic City when it was the only place to gamble on the East Coast, because there is money there, and they were sucking all of it in. But even then, that one tiny town in southern Jersey, 50,000 people, used to be 85, it never developed, let alone the rest of the state, let alone the rest of the Northeast. You just can't get all that much out of this business, and the industry has this term, playing to extinction, which is what they want players to do, which is, they'd like to steadily do it so that you're losing your 4%, they're giving you back 2% in your comps, and this keeps going until you're out of money. And then they're supposed to have more people coming in to extinguish than people getting extinguished and heading out. And suddenly there are too many casinos in the region for that to work. So instead of making some social case for this, it's better than having secret rooms in Chinatown or wherever else. And I gamble and I go to some of these rooms. I'm aware of this world. It's.
I was going to ask you, because you've referenced addiction several times speaking of gambling, so I was going to presume that you're against gambling, but you're not really, are you?
No, gambling's. You're really taking money from enumerated people. I play poker, I play within limits. Most of the people who play, this is like drinking or anything else. Most of the people who do it are fine. And then you're saying we're going to take that 1/8 or that 1/12, and those people are going to have ruined lives because of it. And as I said, with casinos, because it's so concentrated, because all those people are together and you're basically creating safe ruined boxes and areas for them, I think the effects are actually considerably worse in a lot of ways than with alcohol or with drugs, where they're socially dispersed, and generally, it depends on the drug, like in different neighborhoods and social strata. You're collecting and aggregating all the ruin, and I think you create something very ugly. And there's a reason that these boxes don't have windows, and you can't see in. Again, going back to black boxes from the outside. I don't think it's a very good way to help the New York economy, and so far it hasn't.
Well, I appreciate your experience. What do you think, Anthony?
I got a question for Harry, which is Chris Rock, a few years ago, somebody asked him, what do you think about Black History Week? And he said, expletive that, why don't they give us some casinos? And how much impact was the fact that so many casinos on the reservations? What effect does that have?
Well, they're getting killed now. So first off, when you have the reservation casinos, they were very good for often a handful of tribe members, for a couple of tribes like the Oneidas that had a lot of that going, and a lot of tobacco money going, incidentally. And that's been cut down as well, right? It's nice for a stretch. And then what happens is the state looks at that, same as they would if anyone's having a really good run, and they say, how can we find other places to make these? So suddenly it's, we can have, the Indians can have their thing, the Native Americans, and we can put them up on the racetracks as well. But we'll do it with these limits on the racetrack. We're going to get rid of those limits. We're going to have these resorts elsewhere. So after getting this nice fat deal for a few years, and this is in some ways the history of American efforts to make previous wrongs right, going to reparations, going to Native Americans, to all these groups, the Great Society, right? You sort of indiscriminately throw a lot of money, and then people start feeding into that money and filtering it out, and then you say, this hasn't quite worked as planned, and let's get some of it back. So yeah, it would be great to be like, here you go, black people. Here is money from every sucker, white, black, whatever, in America. But you know that's not going to last. Other people are going to scrape into that money, and the free money that's going to get cut off almost never ends well for the groups that are getting it.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Stay with us. This has been Where Jobs Come First, and I'm Pat Sheldon. In our upcoming segment, we'll be speaking with a reality TV producer and learning what's real in that most unreal world. Stay with us.